Hello children, I am your physical education teacher Llewellyn Pinto, and today we'll be talking about discus throw. Chapter number 10 in physical education. Discus throw, the ground for discus throw. As shown in the figure, the throwing circle for discus throw is drawn with a diameter of 2.50 meters. The diameter line is extended outside the circle on both sides to the length of 75 centimeters and is 5 centimeters broad. Instead of the extended lines, wooden strips of the same measure can be put. These lines are straight with the imaginary line passing through the center of the circle and at the right angle with center line of the throwing area. The surface inside the circle is leveled with cement, concrete, or such hard substance. The surface must not be slippery. An iron ring 6 millimeters thick is fixed just outside the circle. It should be in white color. This is the ground which you are seeing, children, over here, which 2.50 meters diameter, and the throwing area is 34.92 degrees. The line width or the marking line is 5 centimeters in width. The top of the rim of circle should be at the ground level. The inner part of the circle should be made 14 mm to 26 mm below the ground level. The throwing area for discus throw is drawn by extending two lines beyond the circle. The lines are at an angle of 34.92 degrees and are 5 centimeters broad. The surface of the throwing area will be even and made of soft earth or with well arranged lawn, so there will be a clear throwing mark of discus. The cage for discus throw. For the safety of the spectators, officials and participants, a suitably constructed cage is erected around the throwing circle. The cage is made of 6 panels of netting 3.17 mm wide and 4 meters in height arranged. The panels should be fixed in such a way that the discus will neither pass through the net nor from under it with the push or the momentum. The cage is inspected regularly to check its safety. The discus. As shown in the figure, the discus is made of wood, iron or fiber wood. Iron and steel brass are used in the making of the discus. The edge of the ring on the rim of the discus are circular in shape. The radius of the circular part is approximately 6 mm. On both the sides of the discus, the surface will be equally sloping and having a circumference of 2.5 cm to 2.8 cm from the center. In the middle part of the edge of the discus, a metal plate is used, while in the part between the two, wood is used. The discus may be prepared without metal plate, but its measurement should be as per rules. The discus of 2 kg for men and 1 kg for women are used for discus throw. The skills of discus throw. A thrower throws the discus from the throwing circle, which has a diameter of 2.50 meters. With the help of the body movements, the thrower gets the force from the movement. He uses the force for throwing the discus to a maximum distance. We will study the skill of discus throw as under. First is the grip, second is the stance, third is the arm swing, fourth is the turn, fifth is the throw, sixth is the release, and seventh is the changing of length. First, grip. The way the discus is held in the hand is called the grip. The way the discus should be held depends mainly on the size of the athlete's palm and the length of his fingers. The force of the push depends mainly on the grip. So the discus is held at the edges with the tips of the fingers so that the discus is balanced properly in the hand and can be given momentum while turning it. The palm remains against the discus while the thumb is spread in a straight line with the wrist. There are 4 types of grips as shown in the figure. You can see grip number A, B and C. So these are the types of grips which can be held to a discus. Types of grip. A. In the first type of grip, all the fingers are spread on the discus. The edge of the discus is held firm with the fingertips. You can see in the figure as the fingers, all the fingers of the palm are there to grip the discus. This type is suitable for keeping the balance and gives a better chance for the discus to spin after the throw. This type of grip is more suitable for athletes having long arms. So the athletes, those who are having long arms, can grip the whole discus with all their fingers. So during the turn of the discus moves in a clockwise direction after the release. B. In the second type of grip, if the fingers are long, the first 2 fingers are joined together and the other fingers are spread on the discus. In this grip, the main pressure is given on the first 2 fingers. In C, in this type of grip, the last small finger is spread away from the others. Competitors whose fingers are short hold the discus, keeping the rim of the discus in between the tips of the fingers and the inner cut of the knuckles. This type of grip is more suitable for athletes having short fingers. D. In this type of grip, the first 2 fingers are kept joined together and the other fingers are spread. The other end of the discus touches the wrist and the middle of the palm does not touch the discus. The thumb is held near the first finger. This grip is called the claw type of grip because it resembles the grip of an eagle on its prey. The second one is the stance. The right foot is placed touching the back part of the circle from inside, while the left foot is placed 40 to 50 centimeters inside the circle in the direction of the throw. The weight of the body is divided equally on both the legs. The muscles of the body are relaxed. After taking the stance, a competitor takes a suitable grip on the discus with his right hand. Now he will be in a position to start taking the preliminary swings. Now students, it is said over here with the right hand, but if an athlete is a left-handed athlete, then he will take the stance holding the discus with his left hand. So according to your ability of throwing and the way you are right-handed or left-handed decides on the way you hold the grip with your right hand or your left hand and take the stance accordingly. Third is the preliminary arm swing. To remove the inertia of the discus and to give the body more freedom of movement, every competitor generally swings his arm twice or thrice. These are called preliminary swings. During the swing, the discus is brought from above the left shoulder towards the right shoulder. The weight of the body is shifted from the left leg to the right leg. The left leg is loosened at the knee and the heel is raised. When the arm is swung forward, the weight of the body shifts on the left leg and the right heel is raised. Normally, the competitors take those arm swings in order to prepare their body and mind for the throw and to keep the discus in proper control. So to control the discus, they take the swing, they hold the discus in their hand and they keep swinging for some time so that to balance their body weight and to get a better control over it. Fourth is the turn or pivot. For gaining force from the body, it is necessary to remove the inertia from the body. So it is necessary to bring the body in motion. It is not possible to gain force within the distance 2.50 meters. It is very difficult to control the body at the time of throwing the discus. It may happen that the competitor crosses the circle and enters into throwing area. So it is necessary to take turn and then throw the discus. Now children, there are various methods of throwing the discus. First is standing throw, second is the Prairie O'Brien. These are the methods which usually are the competitors use these methods or these skills or these style of throwing a discus. And the third one is the disco putt method. Now children, we are talking here about the disco putt method. So for gaining force from the body, it is necessary to remove the inertia. So the way to gain force, the first law of motion, Newton's first law of motion, is the inertia. So the force starts from there. So we're talking about inertia over here. It is not possible to gain force without a distance within the distance of 2.50 meters. So there is a turn taken, and with that turn the momentum is built to give a good throw and achieve a good distance. As shown in the figure, when the right hand holding the discus reaches the far end of the backside, the body is turned around leftwards on the toes of the left foot. The right foot is lifted and moved up to the center of the circle. He takes complete 1/3, 3/4 turn and sends the discus in maximum motion. So the competitor or the athlete takes 1 3/4 turn and sends the discus in a maximum motion. During this entire action of turning around, the knees are bent a little in a sitting position and kept in that position. The toes of the feet do the job of pivoting. So the toes of the foot, what it does? It does the job of pivoting, means turning. So during the turning action, the hand with the discus is constantly held up to shoulder. The left arm is in a loose, relaxed position. Fifth is the throw. The feet movement in the discus throw is to be understood. The action of straightening the right leg, which is bent at the knee in the earlier position, creates the driving force and the action of throwing begins. At this time, the heel of the right foot moves above the ground and the leg bent at the knee becomes straight, and the entire weight of the body is lifted with a great force above the ground with an upward push. When the right hand makes a right angle with the throwing direction, the discus is released from the hand. At the time of release, the palm is facing the sky and the discus is in the groundward position. At this time, the discus is given the last push with the wrist and the fingers. Sixth is the release. The discus is thrown in such a way that it travels in a circular clockwise direction. The discus is given the last push with the first finger. The seventh one is changing of feet on the reverse. During the action of throwing the discus, in order to maintain the balance of the body and to prevent a faulty throw, the competitor performs the action of reverse or changing the feet. In this action, the right foot is placed at the spot where the left foot is, and when the body turns towards the left leg is raised straight towards the back and the right leg is bent from the knee. Now children, as you all know that there is a little bit science in this. What is it? We'll just talk about. So when the person starts with the inertia, okay, the force, the first force which is applied, the inertia, when the person spins around, after that she builds a centrifugal force. Now while the person is spinning, he or she is also resisting centrifugal force by holding onto the discus. Otherwise the athlete would fall off or go out of balance. When the person releases the discus, it travels along the path of inertia. So what happens is, you hold the discus from the top, turn around where you are facing away from the field, spin around 1.5 times before you release the discus. While releasing the discus, while you are spinning, whoever's discus flies the furthest wins. Here now what we are talking about is potential energy. So while a person is waiting to go, she has lots of potential energy. The stronger a person is, the more potential energy she has. When the athlete starts to spin, is converting the potential energy to kinetic energy. So when the person releases the discus, he or she is transferring all that energy into the discus to throw. Then comes centrifugal force. When the person spins around or the athlete spins around, is building up centrifugal force. While the person is spinning, he or she also resisting centrifugal force by holding onto the discus. This is called centripetal force. So it pulls or keeps the person in motion but also holds on to it. When the person releases the discus, it travels along the path of inertia. The path of inertia is determined by where the balance is between centrifugal force and centripetal. So when the athlete lets go of the discus, the centrifugal force works on the discus and combined with lift, the force pushing outward makes the discus fly. So after that, the lift. Now remember, the discus looks like a wing. That's because it does exactly what a wing does. As the discus flies through the air, rushing past it, it has to go faster over the top than the bottom, because the top is curved but the bottom is flat. So this and the spinning of the discus helps create lift, and lift is what makes the discus fly. Now what opposes these forces also? As the discus spins through space, there is friction between it and the air. So it slows down, and the flight of the what it slows down? The flight of the discus. As the discus slows down, gravity takes over and forces the discus to fall on the ground. So then further the discus cannot fly. So in this way, there are these scientific principles which are applied, throwing at an angle of 40 to 45 degrees, so that you get a good elevation and a good lift for the discus to go further. Now the rules of the discus throw competition. Some important rules are given below for the discus throw, which will be useful to the competitors. The order of the throw is decided by the lots or the fixtures. Every competitor has to throw the discus only from the circle. Now, during the throwing action, if any part of the competitor's body touches the upper part of ring or the ground of the throwing area, it will be regarded as a foul. The competitor shall go out of the rear semicircle only after the discus thrown by him lands on the ground, and only after he has regained the steady standing position. So after he has gained his balance, after the discus has touched the ground, he has to move away, and from the opposite direction of the throwing area he has to come out. Otherwise it is a foul. The trial will be declared a foul if the discus falls on either of the sector lines. So there is a marking which we had seen, the throwing area basically. So even if the discus falls on that particular line also, the side lines, it will be called as foul. So it has to fall in the throwing area, inside the throwing area. A competitor will not be allowed to tie his fingers together, nor will be allowed to use adhesive tapes for this purpose. He will not be allowed to use hand gloves also. If a competitor does not arrive when called for a trial, he will not be given another chance. So that chance is missed. If there are 8 or fewer competitors, each will be given 6 trials in their turn to decide the winner rank. So every competitor will get 6 chances to throw the discus. If there are more than 8 competitors, each of them will be given 3 trials by turn in the first instance. So then if there are 8 competitors or more, then they will be given 3 trials. Those 8 competitors who score the highest distance or throws the furthest are given 3 more trials by turns. If there is a tie for the 8th place, all those competitors who have scored the same distance are included for the subsequent round, for the next round. If there is a tie for deciding the rank of the winners, the next best performance of all competitors involved in the tie will be taken into consideration for resolving the tie. If the points scored by 2 or more competitors in all the 6 trials are equal, and if the tie is for the first rank, the tie shall remain. So the tie shall remain and the trophy or the medal will be shared. So now I think that you all will be knowing better about the discus throw, the understanding of the scientific principles also used in this particular chapter during throwing a discus throw.